I think one thing about technology is that there's this idea that sort of culture is separate from technology, and that people are separate from technology, and that these things are on two sides of a line. I think that's really not only incorrect, but it's often damaging. Technology is to further humanity, full stop. I started Kindred Ventures in 2014 as a solo capitalist, and one of the first investments that I made from that was Coinbase. I had come from consumer software and the consumer internet, and I learned a ton about how to build these much more heavyweight industries like marketplaces and logistics. Moving forward, I started angel investing more and more. I had not only invested in 30 or 40 startups by that time, but I had also learned so much about how to help startups, how to help founders as another founder, as a fellow founder. And I really enjoyed that 0 to 1 stage, that going from like 1 or 2 people and coming up with a concept that they were very excited about, and then being able to help them, not only as an angel investor with some capital, but also as someone who can empathize with their experience. At this time period, this is when there was sort of a shift in thinking about founders and operators being investors might be a good thing. And that seems sort of obvious today, but back then it was unclear. San Francisco and Silicon Valley and California, this progressive mentality that it harbors has been a great driver. This is why people from around the world come here, because they know that they're in a place that embraces them. We can't lose that in California, and we certainly can't lose that in San Francisco.
Our company is called Humane. We are about 220 people now, based in San Francisco, and we've been building since 2019 on the belief that AI will be the base of the next generation of compute. And we knew back then that we felt that there needed to be an entirely new device and an entirely new platform to allow for the mass consumer to really be able to experience it and become superpowered by AI.
I think the thing that really attracted us to Steve was his approach to building companies is similar to the way we build product. We have a philosophy that really starts with what the experience of the product should actually be, and we work our way back from that.
He gives very direct and open and honest feedback and guidance and advice, and sometimes in the moment I'll like walk away thinking, I wonder why he's thinking that, and then later realize that he has the long view. He's thinking, what does this mean for Humane 10 years out, 20 years out?
It's hard for a lot of people to articulate what exactly they're looking for, but it's up to founders to build that. It's just been a pleasure to back teams like that, and we want every investment to feel like they're not just following what the future may hold, but actually helping create and shape what that future might look like. A friend of mine had moved from Canada to San Francisco, and his name was Garrett Camp, and he had an idea about a black car with a driver being able to pick you up based upon you requesting it on your phone. And this app idea was a side project, and he asked me one day to help him work on it. And so I helped him start the company as an advisor. So it was called Uber Cab in the very beginning. Those early days was so important to later on how I sort of built a framework for myself on how startups can come from many different origin points. I feel grateful to have been a very small part of that journey in the beginning and to be able to stay close to the company, but I'm mainly in awe of the startup journey and that it can result in a company like this. It's still a pleasure to see the company grow as a global service under the new management, and I think Dara and team here have done an amazing job of continuing the growth. One of the things that I really loved about moving to San Francisco was the art, the music, the food culture, all of that. And it wasn't just for wealthy people, it was for people, entrepreneurs and creative folks that wanted to do something differently and wanted to be the best at what they were doing. And so one of the things that I've tried to do is support the arts here. I think it's really important. I've backed restaurants, local street artists, music venues. I think part of what we do in venture is to pay it forward to new founders, to help them build out their vision. I also think we should be doing that with our community. Tosca is a place to convene people. We brought the CEO of Gucci and the Caring Group management team here to talk about Web3 technology, and they loved it. And that's a very San Francisco thing, to take a craft, take that attention to detail, take inspiration from everyone else out there, and from their own lives, wherever they came from. So it just got into my head that, hey, we enjoy all these things. They're entrepreneurs too. We are investing in each other so that we can improve our community's life. San Francisco is going through its problems, as any big city is today. But, I think the best thing that we have for each other is a smaller, tight-knit community. We can invest in each other through thick and thin. One of my old startups a long time ago, I used to go to this restaurant next door, and people would frequently come by and tap me on the shoulder on their way out and say, really love the food tonight, thank you so much. I was kind of confused, and the manager told me that, hey, I think it's because the chef looks like you, the chef de cuisine, the CDC. And I laughed, I said, you gotta introduce me to him. His name's Brandon Ju. He's born and raised in San Francisco, Chinese American, and an amazing fine dining chef, but really wanted to break out on his own and start his own restaurant. And at that time, there was not much happening in Chinatown. So he was really the first. And he helped revitalize it by creating Mr. Ju's, which is both a restaurant, a lounge, a banquet hall for the community, and a bakery shop and a cafe, all in one. Where we are right now is the very first Blue Bottle Cafe. It's really just a garage and a cart. And it's the very first one. I think it opened in 2004. And I lived up the street. It really opened my eyes up to the idea of third wave coffee. This new sort of more thoughtful in terms of where the beans were roasted and how the beans were roasted and where the beans were sourced and things of that nature. So was able to invest early with them. And that's been a great experience. As an investment in not only what they provide to the city and our community, it's somewhere that I can go to in Tokyo now, in Seoul, and London, and New York, and LA, and that's been an amazing journey to watch. I ended up being able to help them enter and expand into Japan and Korea, which was really exciting and fun. My family is originally from Korea with also some roots in Japan. And so it was really fun to help them launch in Tokyo and Seoul and enjoy that. I think it's putting our industry to task to say, don't just complain, don't just give us your wish list, but support creators, entrepreneurs, artists, builders, real builders, like atomic builders, right? Designers, restaurants, chefs. Be able to support them in the community that you choose to be in.
Steve does this for love. In fact, I bet Steve would pay to do this. That's how much he loves it. And when I say it, I mean just working with founders. He loves rolling up his sleeves and getting into the muck and really trying to help early teams figure stuff out. And so as a result, his passion and his enthusiasm is pretty authentic, and it's very organic. And that really resonates with me because we can sustain ourselves through hard times when you're doing it for love. And then the second, I guess, is he's been doing this a long time, and so he is, I always refer to him as like a Marco Polo of startups. He's tried every spice, and so as a result, he can bring some real wisdom to bear on behalf of startups across different areas of technology.
Every conversation that we have with Steve is always so inspired, energized, and always so helpful. In these early days when we actually started to build a company, when it was just a small crew, even now, he's been a big part of our Series C as well. He's just got such a really precise vision of how to execute alongside founders. There's really just no other way to describe it.
We're grateful to be involved when they're ultimately successful. And we're also grateful to them if they're not successful and they have to shut their company down, because we've also learned so much along the way. We're just fired up to be able to have that relationship for the long haul, from starting the company all the way to, hopefully after IPO. But even if not IPO, if the company doesn't work out and they start a new company, we want to, again, be their ally and help them on that journey. So this is a lifelong commitment that we're making to our founders. It's a true partnership, and this is really why we named the fund Kindred Ventures. How do we understand the psychology of our founders so that we're not sort of one size fits all in our approach? How do we understand the type of product or technology they're working with? How do we play the right role, right? And have that great investor and founder fit that we're looking for. So these are the things that we can control. These are the things that matter to us. The rest is up to the founder.